With a champion injured and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. AEW World Champion MJF will be inducted into the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, as their website reads. The National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame and Museum in Commack, New York. The first annual induction ceremony was established in 1993. It is dedicated to honoring American Jewish figures who have distinguished themselves in sports. Its objective is to foster Jewish identity through athletics and to commemorate sports heroes who have emerged from people not commonly associated with sports. The hall has inductees in the sports of American football, auto racing, baseball, basketball, bicycling, bowling, boxing, Canadian football, canoeing, cycling, fencing, figure skating, golf, gymnastics, handball, horse showing, horse racing, ice hockey, karate, lacrosse, marathon running, pole vault, racquetball, rowing, rugby, shot put, skiing, soccer, softball, squash, swimming, tennis, track, triathlete, volleyball, weightlifting, and wrestling. It has also inducted authors, broadcasters, columnists, and sportscasters. MJF responded on X, writing, "An incredible honor, #BetterThanYou." During an ROH show, a fan ended up getting Taya Valkyrie's glasses. As the star replied, "Those weren't given away, was looking for them actually. If items are left on the ground, they aren't to be taken." Recalling how he bounced back from being Max Dupri on the main roster, LA Knight told Inside the Ropes, "I don't know what anybody's plans were as far as that was concerned, but I definitely tried to plant the seeds with that here and there when I could. I know that once it was said that Hunter was in charge of creative in July 2022, LA Knight started trending on Twitter, which kind of shocked me, but I took a screenshot of that and sent it to him, and I was just like, maybe there's something to this. Now, whether that actually affected anything or not, I don't know, but the moment it was presented to me, my reaction was, F yeah, please, let's go." Touching on a possible tag team match with his brother and WWE United States Champion Logan Paul, Jake Paul said this to Muscle Man Malcolm, "Man, I'm trying to be on his team. I don't want to go up against him. He's a dog in WWE. I'm trying to be his tag team partner." Mentioning what is to come of the Continental Classic tournament, AEW President Tony Khan said during the post-ROH Final Battle media scrum, "We're still going through the first one. I want to finish the Continental Classic and focus on it. Really, in the thick of it, it's just going so well. The fans have stepped up. I think it's fair to say the fans put their money where their mouth is. The show has been going great. The episodes, our AEW television events are doing outstanding, and we've seen lifts week after week in ratings. I am attributing a lot of that to the Continental Classic and the support of wrestling fans. Certainly, you can see more involvement next year. The way it's going, I'd say it's a safe bet to say it will be back next year for the Continental Classic." In an odd turn of events, AEW Rampage ran against Ring of Honor Final Battle, as this was said regarding the ratings of Rampage by Ringside News. Alfred Kanua reports that the December 15th episode of AEW Rampage brought in a fast national number of 296,000 viewers, with 100,000 of those in the 18 to 49 demographic. That number was down from the previous week's number. ROH Final Battle was airing at the same time as AEW Rampage this week. That was certainly some direct competition, pulling some of the same fans away from AEW Rampage who would usually tune in. The December 8th episode of AEW Rampage secured 337,000 viewers for this week's show, while attaining a 0.1 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. This is a slight dip from December 1st episode, which secured 348,000 viewers, but the 18 to 49 demographic remained the same 0.1 rating. When it comes to who could be behind the devil mask in AEW, Sean Ross Sapp Fightful said this: the December 13th episode of All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, the Masked Devils attacked Adam Hangman Page. The beatdown seemed in line with how the storyline had progressed thus far. At the end of the attack, Hangman Page was put through a car window, which led to natural inquisition as to the identity of the devil. Specifically, there were many who assumed it was a hint at it being the former Jack Perry. Perry had a verbal altercation with CM Punk over his insistence to use real glass during an angle with Hook this past summer. Perry referencing the verbal altercation at AEW All In led to a physical altercation with CM Punk. Fightful received a message from one high-level source immediately after the segment specifying that they don't believe Jack Perry is involved in the angle. We've been told that technically Perry's suspension has long been up, but he's not back at the shows. It's always possible that creative plans could change to adjust who is planned for the group. We're told that Hangman Page will be off television for a brief period selling the attack. Taking to Instagram, Gigi Dolin posted a photo noting that she is dealing with illness as she wrote, "I'm sick with the flu and Zachary is in Ireland, Jonas Brothers." For more information regarding Kenny Omega being hospitalized for diverticulitis, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, "I did not hear if he had surgery yet on it, but he was rushed to the hospital on Friday. He had been in a lot of pain, and he thought what happened was, as you probably all remember, that he had the hernia in 2022 that was really, really bad, which caused him that long period off, and he had been hurting really, really bad, and he had presumed it was a hernia. He had had bloating, which he presumed was another hernia, and he thought he may have messed up his diet somehow and was eating something wrong. He kept training on it, working on it, did the match with Ethan Page on last week's Collision. He was hurting really bad on Wednesday when he did the promo with Jericho on Dynamite. By that point, it was really bad. So he went to the hospital and found out he had diverticulitis. It was in a really bad situation. I mean, in the sense of if he had not gone in another day or so, it could have been horrendous. I guess he's fine. I heard from him and he just kind of said that like he was in pain, had trouble sleeping, but he just thought it was the hernia acting up again. And once he found out it was, and he said it could have been really, really bad complications. I don't know how long he's going to be out, and I don't think anyone does. It was a very, very serious situation by the time he got to the hospital. Going over the current standing of Cameron Grimes in WWE, Sean Ross Sapp during a Q&A for Fightful, that will be his role floating around. That will be a lot of it. It's unfortunate because it's one of those things where his versatility and flexibility is almost a detriment because he can fit into anything. He can work as a face, work as a heel, singles, tag, heavyweight, cruiserweight. He can do anything. For an update on his health, as he had neck fusion surgery back in June, Braun Strowman posted this photo from the gym and wrote on Instagram, 4 weeks back, training after almost 5 months off. Size is coming back. A little more to grow before I start the cut. How much do you think I weigh right now? Hashtag Braun Strowman, hashtag WWE, hashtag comeback, hashtag monster. Showing a screenshot of an odd message that she received from a fan, Jordynne Grace posted this. It reads, "Hello, imagine that you have been kidnapped and they force you to eat many foods on top of each other. Many of them are spoiled foods, which would cause you unbearable stomach pain, and they deprive you of everything, even the bathroom. Now, imagine that you try to escape and your captor surprises you by lying on the ground and he falls on top of you, but he is too heavy for you to get up, and even your unbearable stomach pain intensifies. Yes, your hands are tied, your mouth is gagged, so you can't ask for help. Your legs are held tightly, and he has his face completely stuck in your ass. What could you do all over his face to leave him stunned and in agony? What could you do to his face to leave him stunned and dying on the floor and give you time to escape?" Giving his 2 cents on how WWE should book CM Punk's return to in-ring action, Jim Cornette said on his drive-through podcast, "I still would not have him wrestle on television before the Rumble if it was a perfect opportunity with an opponent that he could just shine with, a little short something and somebody run in and do something physical or whatever. If they're doing an angle, that's fine. I would not give a legitimate main event top restaurant quality CM Punk match on free television before the Rumble." Following Liv Morgan's arrest in Florida for possession of marijuana, there is now a new interesting potential detail, as PW Insider reported that one story making the way in the company is that the vape pen, which allegedly contained a synthetic substance that Morgan was charged with possession of, actually belonged to someone else, but had been left in her Jeep. We are told WWE is waiting for the legal process to play out. Morgan is slated to be officially arraigned in February in Sumter County, Florida. Speaking about his acquisition of Ring of Honor, AEW President Tony Khan said during the post-ROH Final Battle media scrum, "It was probably since the last Nitro like the weirdest vibes in terms of a new boss coming in to take over a company and nobody knowing what to expect. I'd like to think for the majority of the people, it's been really good. I've retained a lot of the original ROH people. A lot of the people when I came in, they didn't know if they were still going to have a job. Try to keep as many people in their jobs as possible and make them better jobs and more sustainable and stable jobs, but also hired more people. So when I came in, a lot of people were able to stay and keep their jobs, which was not something that happened during the WCW handover to WWE." Khan added this regarding classic ROH events making a comeback. "I could see potentially adding more events, maybe even bringing back great events from ROH's history, and maybe even putting these on WatchROH.com. Talking about CM Punk's return to WWE, Eric Bischoff said this on his 83 Weeks podcast. "There's still people saying, oh, the only reason Eric's still saying anything negative about AEW is because Tony Khan wouldn't give him a job. Tony Khan has the money to make me do a lot of but would I actually enjoy or embrace the opportunity to work there? Absolutely not. That it would take an ungodly amount of money for me to put myself through it." Sticking with the former WCW president, Bischoff said this regarding the success of Punk's WWE comeback. "By the way, I'm going to go on the record right now. The acquisition of CM Punk to WWE might have been one of the most financially successful acquisitions in all of pro wrestling." Wow, did I just say that? Staying on the topic of CM Punk's return to WWE, Road Dogg said this about not knowing that Punk would be at Survivor Series in Chicago, saying on his "Oh You Didn't Know" podcast, "I had zero idea he was coming back all the way up until his music. That's just the truth of it." Touching on the live attendance numbers for WWE and AEW last week, Ringside News wrote, WrestleTix recently compiled attendance figures for WWE and AEW television shows this week. Among the shows, Monday Night Raw had the most audience this week, which was definitely a shocker considering Friday Night SmackDown has usually been the dominant one amongst the two brands. On the other hand, AEW Collision had the least attendance among any of the shows, which is nothing unexpected now. Monday Night Raw on December 11th, 2023 took place in Cleveland, Ohio at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, where they sold 9,552 tickets. AEW Dynamite took place in College Park Center in Arlington, Texas, and drew an audience of 3,659. The December 15th episode of Friday Night SmackDown took place in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the Resch Center and managed to sell 6,240 tickets, while AEW Collision also took place at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas, and had an audience of 2,736. Noting the recent whereabouts of the son of Umaga, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said, Zilla Fatu was backstage at AEW this week. We have not heard of any plans to bring him in. Recalling his time with WWE from '89 to 1990 and being offered a job with the company in 2019, AEW commentator Tony Schiavone said on his What Happened When podcast, "Who knows with the WWE how long I would have stayed in 1990 after that, because I could have been fired like I would have been had I taken that job 5 years ago. I would have been fired almost immediately. There is no question. There is no question in my mind that Vince McMahon wanted me to come there to fire me. Yeah, I believe that. He wanted to hire me. I feel bad about Bruce Pritchard because Bruce is in the middle of this and Bruce is a friend of mine, and I believe anything Bruce tells me is legit and sincere. Vince wanted to hire me to keep me away from this upstart company AEW. COVID happened. They cut back. Why not cut back on one of the newest guys that just arrived? There is no question I would have been let go." Taking to social media, CJ Perry revealed why she would be missing some wrestling appearances as she posted this photo and wrote, "CMLL, please keep me in your prayers. I'm at the ER. The infection from my small finger has gone up my arm. I'm so sorry I had to miss last night and AEW tonight. I look forward to debuting in Mexico with Andrade El Idolo. Good luck, Miro and my client Andrade on AEW Collision and AEW Continental Classic." When it comes to Bobby Lashley's group with the Street Profits, apparently an idea was thrown around to add a member, as Sean Ross Fightful said. Odyssey Jones hasn't been on WWE TV, but has been on the road. We're told that he had been pitched for the Street Profits / Lashley group at one point, but there's been no development on screen. However, he returned to the road with WWE, teaming with Cameron Grimes against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller on recent live events. Mentioning the attendance numbers for the upcoming WrestleMania next year, Ringside News wrote, according to WrestleTix on Twitter, it was revealed that night 1 of WrestleMania 40 has already sold 57,153 tickets, with the current setup being 58,910. Therefore, merely 1,757 tickets are left to be sold. Night 2 of the impending premium live event shows a similar story. Night 2 was sold 57,207 tickets out of the same capacity of 58,910, with only 1,703 left to sell months in advance. On SmackDown, a commercial break took place during his entrance as Randy Orton could be seen waiting around outside the ring until cameras were rolling again.
Damn right.
Going over an honor set for the Dudley boys, Ringside News wrote that according to PW Insider, the Dudleys will be inducted into the 2300 Arenas Hardcore Hall of Fame over WrestleMania 40 week at the BCW event on April 5th, 2024. It will be the 23rd induction into the Hardcore Hall of Fame. Going over a WWE star that was rehired by Triple H, this was said regarding the status of Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis hasn't wrestled a match since May. He's not been on the show and hasn't been at many recent tapings. We're told that he isn't injured and is good to go whenever WWE develops creative plans. As AJ Styles recently made his WWE comeback, and in a potential spoiler, AJ was seen in a photo for the December 22nd SmackDown, which was taped on Friday, where he is wearing all black as well as a jacket. This could be indicative of a heel turn, but we'll have to wait and see what comes of this. At a recent GCW event, Mick Foley made his presence felt dressed as Santa Claus during the No Holds Barred event yesterday. Here's the clip. revealing that an AEW champion is out of action with an injury. This was said about Orange Cassidy by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. He has been sidelined the last I heard. Following the news of her arrest, WWE star Liv Morgan's mugshot is now being commercialized, with shirts being sold online. Some have also created an additional skin for Morgan in the WWE 2K23 game, where she can be seen in jail attire. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.